and a hamster wheel run a rat race for cheddar. Money amplifies your vices, it don't make it better. For the power chasing cowards, aim and spray Berettas. You stay anonymous cause we don't got the same vendettas. Remember the 5th of November, the hidden agendas, the kids in.
Some artists chase music from childhood, but others find it when the time is right. At 19, Aaron stepped into the rap and never looked back. From Tulsa to the battle stage, his story is one with passion, growth, and purpose. Today we dive into the man behind the music. And so, bro, for those who don't know you yet, can you introduce yourself and tell us where you're from?
I'm Aaron motherfucking Sawyer, dog. I'm from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Born and raised. I was born in the St. John's parking lot. That's how Tulsa I am, bro. I was born in the ambulance of Tulsa, bro. It's as Tulsa as it gets, bro. Yeah. I'm a battle rapper, hip-hop artist. I got rock albums out, R&B albums out. I started my own marketing company. So CEO, yogi, yoga instructor, all the good shit, man.
Are you doing a lot then?
Yeah, well, I did the whole I dropped it while I was battle rapping because I didn't want to be like the white boy that like blows up and then does rock, like uses hip hop to like as a come up and then drops a rock album. I do that shit right now while I'm still on the come up, and I got a battle next weekend to let these motherfuckers know that it ain't no Post Malone shit going on. Respectfully,
So I want to dive into that too, but before we get into that, I want to know what was life like for you growing up in Tulsa? You know what I mean? And how did the city shape you your perspective?
Dude, I think growing up in Tulsa, super interesting. I grew up sheltered suburbanite, white boy. Dude, it was couldn't even. I grew up in Broken Arrow, and it was I never went downtown. My first experience with hip hop was watching Big Boy and Three Stacks on this music. I think it was 04, 05, 06, watching the VH1 music videos, watching I think it was So Fresh and So Clean. And I saw the little lady throw the panties on Big Boy and I was 5 years old, what the fuck, I was this is great. So growing up in Tulsa as the sheltered suburban white boys, your parents try to hide you from hip hop. It's hip hop is not socially acceptable, you know what I mean? And then you grow up and you're especially with technology, 8th grade, 9th grade. It was when I was in 9th grade, J. Cole's album had come out, the Sideline Story, along with Kendrick's ADHD or Section 80. And it was then I started, in Tech 9 as well as influence. And it was damn, now I'm really starting to develop my own taste, my own palette for music, and then I watched I think Future got popular around 2014, and then I watched all these suburban white boys, sheltered ass kids start popping Xans, and I was what the fuck what? So now all of a sudden all these white boys are trapping. And I'm yo, what the dude, Carl, relax. Chet, calm down. You're not Future. You're not ever gonna be Future. You know what I mean? But it definitely shapes your psyche. It shaped the culture, and it became all people, of all walks of life were welcome here, and it's just took on a life of its own, and it's really up to you what you're going to do with it. You know what I mean? And even at that time, I was always kind of had that inclination toward the storytellers, the lyricists, the Kendricks, Coles, watching that 2011 Slaughterhouse Cypher and shit like that. I started trying to rap along to it, even though I didn't start rapping until I was 19. I couldn't follow a beat. But really having more of a respect for it. I always felt the kids, they listened to Future and started popping Zans. I was just like, I feel like you're not doing it right. Like, I don't think you're doing anybody a service. Like, degrading black women and sipping lean. Like, this doesn't seem helpful. You know what I mean? So, but hey, teachers, I've been had to learn, like, hey, bro, let them pop their little Zans, bro. You just, no pun intended, you know what I mean? Just fucking, you can't really change anybody's path, bro. You just gotta, like, love people where they're at. So, I don't agree with it, but.
Right. I didn't put it on her, but just the whole pill thing made me think about that fentanyl, man. That's killing a lot of people.
Dude, yeah, and that's what like it really started in that like 2015. 2014, 2015, I was like, it was like this, it was almost like mind control, bro. Like MK Ultra, how these white boys started switching up, and like all of a sudden they're just like, trapping. I'm like, dude, hey, you do realize like the people that are trapping to get the shit that you already have. You know what I mean? So you're being disrespectful to the people actually trying to make it out. Like, these people are putting their life on the line every fucking day, hopefully to get, the Mercedes that your mom has and the fucking 2-story house with the fence. You know what I mean? And you're just throwing that all away so you could feel cool.
But like you said, I mean, like a lot of people, they want to get out the hood. You know what I mean? They're trying to provide a better lifestyle for their children. You know what I mean? Whereas people, they don't understand it.
It's like you think about Tom Hanks, right? Like, he's super rich white actor, and his son grows up with access to everything. I'm sure me and Chet Hanks would get along just fine. So again, no disrespect, but like Chet Hanks starts speaking in patois, like he's got everything that he could ever ask for. And so what he wants is to like be like the black kid that has nothing. It's like, hey dude, if you really want to help, you could like help in so many different ways, not by like, stealing their culture and like, just not adding.
Even some of the rich black children, so-called black children, they do it too. Look at King Harris, T.I.'s son. He had everything, but then you want to be a badass. You want to portray this image like you're this street guy. I mean, look at you, you're king. Come on now.
It's like, bro, if you don't go hang out with Jaden Smith and figure out how to figure out the economic climate, like, goddamn, dude, you have to just start a school and like actually like honor the privilege that you were born with. You know what I mean? And like use it to do something impactful. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I'm not like, I'll go white boy crazy on the battle rap shit. And it's like, but I'm not going to like try to fake a struggle story. That's not my lane. You know what I mean? So it's not like, it wouldn't be doing anybody a service to like, pretend like I wasn't sheltered. I have the sheltered white boy turned acid tripper, damn, I gotta fix the planet story. And like, that is good enough for me, bro. Like, I'm not trying to be anything I'm not, But in terms of, I just want to answer that question in terms of how Tulsa shapes you. Like, I do feel like we're the South. You know what I mean? Like, some people say it's the Midwest. It doesn't, I think Tulsa is the South. And so for me, it's like, I think Oklahoma they got this twang, they got this style that I don't think they've fully discovered yet. You know what I mean? So I've really been experimenting with like, how do I bridge all of these gaps? Like, I started making like some blues rap type shit. You know what I mean? Where it's like, you are from Oklahoma, so you got that, you got that Southern twang, you got that like, there's like a politeness, like people from Oklahoma, as compared to when I travel and like go to these other states, it's like, damn, I was raised with manners, bro. And I think a lot of us were, dude, and it's like, you can wear that on your sleeve and turn that into art. You know what I mean? So with being born and raised in Tulsa, I really think like it inspires you feel like the underdog in a way. You know what I mean? You think, oh, I'm from Tulsa, no one's really looking at us. Like, now I got to do some out of the box shit because no one's paying attention. So I have to make them pay attention,
Yeah, because I mean, we got a lot of artists here, but you like you said, you didn't start making music till you were 19. What sparked that decision, and why do you think it happened at that time in your life?
Man, I was always like good at creative writing in terms of like poetry and stuff. I remember seeing Living Arts Tulsa Poetry Committee. They came to Broken Arrow and did a poetry slam. That was the first poetry slam I had ever attended. And just the lyricism and the way that it felt like they were like tapping into like this God box, this godly essence and like channeling from these like crazy higher frequencies. And I was like, this dude's channeling a character right now. Like, how the fuck do you do that? You know what I mean? So like that was when I started really trying to like write creatively. But in terms of like actually writing to my first beat, I was doing a bunch of acid in college, and then one time I took acid and thought I turned into Jimi Hendrix, because I like just listened to a ton of Jimi Hendrix while tripping balls, and that'll make any suburban white boy think that he's Jimi Hendrix for
Right.
real, and then I was like, I was in this fraternity, and everyone was just like, it was again like kind of like just programmed like on some like MK Ultra shit. It was like, damn, you don't think past what's right in front of you. You don't have any vision for your life or future. Like, you don't, let alone knowing that your words create realities. You know what I mean? And I was like, I remember just like having this vision of like my music just moving millions of people. And I was doing a lot of self study back then, as I still am. And it was like, you need to get your purpose down in one sentence. If you can't say your purpose in one sentence, then it's not clear enough, And so I was like, okay, my purpose is to elevate human consciousness through music, meditation, yoga, art, poetry, And it was like, word, okay, now get to it. And it was just like, I remember writing the actual lyrics to J. Cole's For Your Eyes Only. And I was like trying to match his syllabics. And I was like, how the fuck do you even like write this? Like, how do you, so I would like write a line and then put a little like slash and then write another one. I remember this guy over the summer, I'd got caught with the acid, thank God. So I stopped doing acid. And the first day, my mom catches me with acid. She's like, what the fuck? And I was like, I got to go all in on this music, and I paid this dude like $20 for a beat, and the beat was trash and I was trash, and it was like, okay, this is my first song, you know what I mean? And so it was like just writing in that pen and pad, and like whenever you start out, you have to suck, you have to be comfortable with sucking for like 3 years, and it was like the 10,000 hour rule. I was like, all right, well, these hours aren't gonna clock themselves in, so I better get to work, you know what I mean?
That's why I feel like the more I do this, the more comfortable I've gotten compared to when I first started. You know what I mean? The more of these sit downs, the more I get comfortable with the people. You know what I mean? I want to looking back. You know what I mean? Going into what I was just asking. Do you wish you had started earlier, or do you feel like you started at the right time?
Fuck yeah, dude. I mean, look, I remember being invited to talk to these kids at Tulsa School of Arts and Science a couple of years ago, and it was mostly black kids, and there was this one red-headed white boy that I knew was gonna listen to me. You know what I mean? He was like staring at me like I had a golden halo around my head the whole time, And I was like, look, guys, like I just blew up. I had 2,000 followers forever. I've been doing this for 8 years, putting out content. Nothing happened. All of a sudden, this one battle, 8 people are there, and I post the clip on the internet, and it just goes crazy viral. Chris Brown comments on it, and I went from 3,000 followers to 30,000 followers like in 2 weeks. And I was like, I just want to encourage y'all to start now. I didn't start till I was 19. Imagine where I would have started. Imagine where I'd be if I started when I was 12 or 13, like y'all, This little redheaded white boy's like, so you mean to tell me that if I start right now, then I could be as good as you? And I was like, bro, you could be better than me. Like, by the time you're 18, bro, like, start now. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I wish I would have started way earlier, and I wish I would have been in a family and environment that encourage creativity. So if you're in that and you're a younger artist, like don't take that for granted. I still get laughed at by my family. My sister would say, "Hey, I'm not going to a show of yours until you're performing at the Canes Ballroom." It's like, all right. So my family still, I mean, dude, 50 million views on the internet, they still don't believe in me. So, you're gonna have to fight through adversity. But should have been fighting through that shit whenever I was fucking 10. You know what I mean? Instead of waiting to pull the trigger.
Yeah, because I look at a lot of these guys that are doing the podcast. A lot of them, as far as the big ones, a lot of those guys are younger than me, and I'm like, damn, if I would have started, you know what I mean? But my mind wasn't on that back then, so I completely understand.
Yeah, and just honor your path where it's at. Like honestly, dude, if I'd have blown up when I was 21, I'd probably be dead right now. You know what I mean?
And
Like,
also at the same time, a lot of billionaires now become billionaires in their late 30s, late 40s. I'm not
yeah,
that low. I ain't late 40s, but you know what I'm saying? As far as don't stop.
yeah. I'm 27. I feel like it's right on time, bro, because now I can walk into these rooms and not get taken advantage of because I have knowledge of self. You know what I mean? So if you're like,
Mhm.
oh man, I swear I swear this needs to happen this year. Like I know I'm just one step away, and it's like, bro, if you don't just go put some more hours in, man, shut up. You're gonna be fine, dude. It's God saving your dumb ass from dying. All right. That should be the clip. That's the clip I'm gonna clip from this podcast. Hey, it's not your time to blow up yet. God is saving your dumb ass from dying. All right, it's gonna happen whenever you are actually ready. You know.
It's your time.
Yeah.
Who were some of your biggest influences musically, lyrically, or even outside of music that inspired your style?
Man, that's a great question. I think I always loved the deepest lyricists I could find. So like just going down the list, I think like Black Hippie like Kendrick, Ab Soul, Cambada is this lyricist from New Haven, Connecticut, who's like crazy like multi-dimensional rhyme schemes and punches. You know what I mean? Like he
Mm-hmm.
said something like I'm from the inside of what's on the outside of outer space or the other side of outer space, like some shit that's like rapping like Zen koans. Like I think about Daylight as a battle rapper, like the way that he sets up, he was dyslexic and wrote with both hands growing up, so those bars finna be crazy. And so it's like who else? I think I was also super into rock, so um like Slipknot, uh,
Mm-hmm.
fucking, bands like that, like Five Finger Death Punch, where I think that's where I get some of that fucking wild performance energy, is because I've always wanted to throw on like the craziest shows. Like I would always look at those metal concerts of the Wall of Death, like with
Mm-hmm.
Killswitch Engage, and they would just be like, it'd be like 10, 20,000 people, like, 50 yards apart and then just run and just crash into each other. And I was like, that's what I want. I want a sea of people. I want to split the sea,
Yeah.
like Moses' brother Aaron, bro, and then just fucking watch them all crash into each other. So I really got the wild performance and crowd control from like those like hard rock, heavy metal bands, and I got like the lyricism and wordplay from the Cambadas and the Daylights and the Kendricks and Ab Souls. And I feel like that's what my mission is, to be like how do I bridge those gaps? I
Mm-hmm.
want the wall of death, but I want it to be crazy conscious wordplay at the same time. You know what I mean? Stuff that makes you think and makes you challenges you to think,
Mm-hmm.
become a better person.
See, because I was gonna follow up and ask you what about them connects with you the most, but it sounds like you already answered that right there. What you were just saying. You know what I mean?
Bro, you gotta have. I think that the yoga, the prayer, the meditation is the pillar of all of this. It's at the
Mm-hmm.
forefront. You know what I mean? Because it's like that's if you're not connected to self or spirit, like it's so easy to be deceived, especially in the music industry. You know what I mean? So like also doing, like, for me, it's yoga, meditation. Like, that practice is like this self-discovery process. It's not just a physical practice. You're watching the layers, you're peeling layers of your soul and ego. You're peeling layers of ego away, and it's like great for self-reflection. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Whenever you're in, and I had a really good yoga mentor growing up who, like, bro used to be a gangster out in California trafficking methamphetamines, and then, like, he ended up teaching yoga to the prisoners that he
Mhm.
was in prison at, like, later on, and so he was a fucking little badass, and he didn't take any shit either. He approached it like he did the dope game, but now it's
Mhm.
just yoga. So I'd be in child's pose for 5 minutes, like fucking shaking, and he's like, just speaking life into me. And it was the first person I ever had really, like, speak life into me. But that connection to the Most High, bro, is gonna get you through the toughest of times, and that's where I would say you should probably develop that connection before you need it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, a lot of
Mhm.
people, when they're in a pinch, they're like, please, God, get me out of this. It's like, hey, bro, like, I believe in stacking up. I, I'm praying, please, God, get me out of this, get me through this before the shit even hits the fan. You know what I mean? Like, that's
Mhm.
that's where you want to be. You know what I mean?
What was the first song or battle that you wrote or performed, and what do you remember about that experience?
Dude, okay, so first song I performed, trash. It's great. It's just a delicious piece of trash, bro. First battle, also probably trash, but, like, just, dude, the adrenaline, like, your
Yeah.
first ever rap battle. There's no feeling like the adrenaline of, what the fuck am I doing, bro? Like, this is so crazy. Why am I doing this? And, like, um, I would say my first, like, I guess my first battle was Poets versus Rappers in 2017, and I
Mhm.
was against Cody Ransom. Shout out, he's a good dude.
Yeah, that's my guy. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I love that guy. And it was like, I had no idea what I was doing. I just went in and went as hard as I could. But that still wasn't a rap battle. Like, my first battle rap event was August of 2022 or
Mhm.
2021. Sorry. Fuck yeah. I've only been doing them for 4 years, bro. Um, so I pretty good turnout so far, man. But yeah, like, 2021 is in this parking garage, and it was the homie Paid and Soul Body, Marshall Moses was hosting it, and I was a big OSU fan growing up, so I look over, I'm like, oh shit, that's Marshall Moses. He was a crazy ass power forward. 2013, 2014 OSU basketball season. Go
Yeah.
Cowboys! I was like, fuck yeah, that was already like a bucket, like a milestone there. I was like, oh, one of my favorite players growing up is, like, hosting this shit. Now I'm like homies
Yeah.
with him. Damn, and so yeah, like, it was against Kid 918. Shout out to him for taking the first ever plate against the rookie.
Mm.
And dude, just the adrenaline rush that you feel is unlike anything that I've ever experienced. And it you still get those jitters, but that first one is just like, it feels like you're in high school and you're about to fight someone, and everyone's, like, going to the
Mm.
fucking courtyard or whatever, and you're like, oh my god, is this really about to happen? This is crazy.
I started thinking about Eminem and 8 Mile when he had his
Yeah, he's
first battle.
throwing up. I don't think I've thrown up before a show, but I've had some pretty gnarly. The thing for me is, like, as I've grown in my skill set, I also became the camera guy too, right?
Right?
So I would be like, you know, microdosing psychedelics. Don't do it, kids. I'd be like, I'd be kind of like tripping on mushrooms, setting a camera up, about to battle in 5 minutes, and I'm the fucking guy recording it. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I need to hire someone, bro. I can't speak like I'd be like setting the camera up, and my hands are shaking, and
Yeah.
I'm like, why am I doing both right now, bro? Like, it would be nerve wracking doing either one, but now I'm setting the camera. But that's what it is, bro. If you really want to, you can't let anybody else be a barrier to entry. So fuck it. I'll put the money up for the battle. I'll set up the event. I'll invite the people. I'll promote it. I'll go there early and set the camera up. I'll run the rounds. I'll battle. I'll edit the footage. I'll put it out. I'll send everyone their clips. Because if I put my future in your hands, you're gonna fuck me over. Not you specifically, because you're helping our people elevate. Damn it.
Yeah. On my mama, I respect everything you just said because behind the scenes, I'm doing all that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Paying for the cap cut, bro.
Like, and they don't understand. Like, all right, so when I first started my platform, it's historical information on here. You know what I mean? But within the last couple months, I've been wanting to bring Tulsa on here. You know, let's bring awareness to our city. I mean, there's over 100, 200 artists down here. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of talent down here. There's people with stories as well. You see what I'm saying?
So much depth and so much talent, bro.
Mm-hmm. That's why I'm doing this. This is why I'm helping the people. Whether you a top artist in the town or, like I say, you know what I mean, whether you down there and you just getting started, I salute you. Let's get on here.
And I went from within 4 years. I mean, I graduated college in 2020. You know, no shows really going on in 2020. So like from 2021 to now it's 2025. I've only been doing this 4 years, and I climbed to the top of the food chain within 2. You know what I mean? By 2023, when I went viral, even going to Castle Row Studios in 2023, playing my music for every studio, like, okay, I only have $100 to my name. Let me put 70 in for the VIP pass and play my music in every studio here. And I have a battle and I'm performing. Like, you just got to outwork everybody. And I'm one of the only cats in my, freshman class of 2022 that didn't stop at all at any point. And so it's not hard to climb up to the top of the food chain, to be honest. It's just, it's hard, but it's if you're consistent, it just becomes a part of your lifestyle. I don't have to think about writing another song. I don't think, oh man, I got to come up with the next one. It's like, nah, this shit has been so ingrained in me through this. I've had to sacrifice a lot, there've been times where I've been more isolated than I've wanted to be, but like, I think that, everyone says don't quit, but that also means start every day, bro. Like, not quitting means you do something every day that gets you a step closer, and it's like, it only took me 4 years, bro. Like, what? I know people that have been grinding for way longer than that with way less results, and it's like, I think there's some luck involved and I think the spiritual connection helps a little bit. Like, when you know you're destined for something greater and can't nobody tell you differently, then you start to move a little bit different. You start to move like your purpose depends on it,
Like you said, all it takes is that one.
And there was 8 people at that battle, bro, that blew up. So it's like, I thought that was a fucking dud. I was like, this sucks. Like, even there was an on beat battle that I had where my opponent ducked. The whole event was washed, and I still spit all of my rounds, whatever. Bro, I posted that a couple of months ago. This one clip of me rapping for 2 minutes on beat, in an on beat battle in man sandals, rapping on top of a pallet. That shit is at 333,000 views, and Drake commented on it. He hibachied them in the Xena Warriors. It's like, what, dude? What? So, like, even the shit that you think was a dud, the battle that nobody showed up to, the show that nobody showed up to, you repurpose that content, bro. It could get in front of the right eyes for real.
What made you step into battle rap specifically?
I told myself, and talking to King Castro, bro, I was like, dude, I'm not even a real battle rapper until I've had like 10 plates. And it was this crazy wave in 2022 where there was a cypher every Friday and a battle every Saturday. So it was really like long-term mentality, I would say. Most people are only focused on the next battle. I'm like, bro, book me 10 and let's see where I'm at after the first 10. You know, and like I don't see a lot of people thinking like that, although they should. Hopefully this podcast like inspires them to don't just think about your next show, think about your next 10 shows. Don't just think about your next song, think about your next 10 songs. You know what I mean? Like that way you can amass more, and like volume is important, bro. So like after that first one, they weren't even gonna drop the footage, and I was like, fuck it, I got my footage on my iPhone. I just posted it on Facebook. You know, then they posted the battle the next day. So you got to just like go hard. You got to go hard for yourself, bro. Because again, if I put my outcome in your hands, then if I would have waited for someone else to, you know, it's so funny, bro. Before that shit blew up in that battle rap clip, my wife gave me a pep talk about a week or two before. She was like, babe, you've got to stop waiting for other people to put you on. You're the platform. You know, and so she took the video of me on my phone. I posted it from my phone on my channel, and that shit blew up. I took that to heart, you know? So, like, can't wait for someone to send you footage. You can't wait for someone else to capture you. You can't wait for someone else to post you. Like, you better get on it, bro. You know?
For real, you can't hear it now because ain't nobody gonna do for you but you.
Right.
And only one holding you back is you.
And if you're lucky, you'll find a wife. I was praying for a wife, bro, for the longest time, just because I knew how much temptation the rap game has in it. You know what I mean? And I was like, I don't want to fucking. I was like, went through that mental exercise. Okay, if I was the devil, how would I try to trip me up? You know? And I was like, whores and cocaine. I would send me whores and cocaine. You know? And so I'm like, okay, what's the best preventative medicine against whores and cocaine? Superfoods and a wife. That's where I need to go. That's my North Star, bro. I need a wife. I need to eat healthy and say no to cocaine.
Yeah.
Things should work out for me, you know?
Salute that. Yeah, I like that. Do you see battle rap as an art form, a sport, or both?
Damn, that's such a great question, bro. I think it's definitely, I'd say, I think obviously both, but like I wonder if it's like the chicken came before the egg. Is it a sport first and then an art form? I feel like the art form it being a sport is the art form as well. That's like a part of the art form. You know what I mean? Because I love those competitions where you don't know what the outcome is going to be. Like when someone's performing a set, like, yeah, okay, you don't know if they're going to have a good or bad set, but you know someone's going to get up, do their music. People are either going to have a great time or pretend to have a great time. You know, there's so many shows I've had to like rewire that of like, man, I got to stop pretending to support this guy if he's having a terrible performance. I don't know what I'm supposed to do, but I catch myself like trying to be too nice and like give him energy, even though like I'm not feeling it, you know? But with battle rap, it's this like blood sport type of vibe, but then like you're also in this exclusive group of like, dude, most of the homies that I have are like people that I've battled, and now we're like that, and I fucking hated them before. I hated them. You couldn't have paid me to talk to them before, you know, but now it's like you have the utmost respect for them because they're crazy enough to get in that ring and put their name on the line, their career on the line. Like I've battled people, bro, and they have not battled since. Like I have ended careers for real, and so battle rap is a very risky sport to enter because you could fuck around and lose your whole career, bro. Like, and it's still your personal choice, but like I don't know, man. I feel like the samurai warrior with like a few heads on the mantle. It's like, yeah, I've ended probably like 3 or 4 careers legitimately. Like they've never rapped again since then. It doesn't like give me joy, but it's like, okay, you were in a high risk, high reward type of situation.
Yeah.
And that's art, bro. Like the art, you know, it's whenever you're watching a boxing match, you know, it's a lot of people might just view that as just brute force, but there's an art form to the way that dude is punching that other dude in the face. You know what I mean? Like
when George Foreman lost his first fight, he retired, became a preacher. Who? George Foreman, rest in peace.
Crazy. Man, really? That's crazy.
He lost his first fight and he retired. He was on the street. Lost his first fight. He stopped fighting for a while, became a preacher. Then he ended up going back into the ring before he retired again.
Man, I mean, I've seen people get in the ring, battle, and then just be like, oh, that ain't me. I don't got it, you know? And like, I think that I'm the kind of guy where, you know, battle rap has taught me how to lose gracefully, bro. Like, it's really taught me to, because you take that L, you know, my first definite L was against Sub-Z, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'd clearly lost, and I had a choice. You know what I mean? Was it like, okay, well, this is it. It's just not for me. It was like, nah, it taught me to be more humble going into the battle. Don't talk so much shit. You know, like it teaches you, okay, well, I'm still here. Yeah, I took an L. Like I didn't plan for those Columbine bars that bro had, but you know, like he assassinated my character, but I'm still here. You know, I still got this show next week. So did I really lose? Nah. Like, I mean, yeah, I lost, but like I also won in the macro because I was like, damn, okay, he got me that night, but guess what? Guess who's gonna have a bigger body of work? Guess who's gonna put out, you know, 6 projects this year? Guess who's gonna, you know? And I was like, okay, well, I'm also gonna win by outworking you, even if you get me. If I lose the battle, I'm still gonna win the war. You know what I mean? Like through consistency, because like that's why people like over time they'd be like, Aaron is literally like invincible. Like he can't be defeated because he accepts even if he loses, he can't lose because he knows he's a goofy ass white boy. He doesn't pretend to not be a goofy ass white boy. Yeah. He's just gonna like, and it takes a lot more strength than people give it credit for, but he's just gonna dance along to the next one like, oh, what do you know? I lost another battle in my fucking flip flops again. Fuck, what's on the agenda next, boys? You know, it's almost like you have to be a little bit just forward focusing. I'm only focused on my next at bat, you know.
When you take us through, you know what I'm saying, when you're preparing for a battle, what's the process like? I mean, like, do you write everything freestyle or do you mix both together?
Oh, you gotta write like 99% of it. You're like, I started preparing to where like, okay, so how I prepare is like, think about it. You got 3-minute rounds, 2 to 3 minutes, but like that's 9 minutes of bars. You know, that's like a whole album worth in one battle. You know, and so you get about 30-60 days to prepare. Most of the time, like it's usually like 4 to 8 weeks prep.
Mm-hmm.
And so I write the punchlines first. Like, let's say helping our people elevate is going to be the punchline, right? So then I'll reverse engineer. So it'll be like, okay, I know I'm going to end with helping our people elevate, right? Mm-hmm. So then I'm like, okay, what rhymes with elevate? Or helping our people elevate, and then I speak in tongues a little bit to like and then I put the syllables to it, you know, like you know, fuck with me, you go see Heaven's Gates, you know, someone do so much yoga, I levitate. You know what I think about when I meditate? Hope. What that mean? Helping our people elevate. You know what I mean? And then it's like, okay, and then from there, you have a choice to either continue the rhyme scheme and do another one, or like, or you can do something that also aligns with hope. Like maybe if I was going to do what they call elbows, so like helping our people elevate is the punch. The elbow would be something that also has the acronym of hope. You know what I mean? And so it's like, I think, so I'd be like, harmony, overpowering predators so that we can educate, you know what I mean? And so like overpower predators to educate, you know, and so then it's like but from there, think about it. So like I just write down a fuck ton of ideas that make no sense at first. Like if you look at my battle rap bars for A-Ward, I got this battle coming up in February against A-Ward. None of it makes sense yet. I just get the ideas out first, you know what I mean? For stuff that I think is going to be a cool punchline. And then whenever it's about, you know, between 2 to 4 weeks out of the battle, I'll start to trim it out into rounds. It's like you got to get all that marble out first, and then you can chisel it into a round. And whenever it comes to freestyling and rebuttaling, I started priming my brain. First off, it's just helpful to not focus on what they're saying, anyways, because, you know, like the 4 agreements: don't take anything personal, don't make assumptions, be impeccable with your word, and always do your best. Well, don't take anything personal. So if I'm only focusing on what this guy is saying and what the crowd is doing, not going to be the healthiest like mental space for me to be in the middle of a battle, because he could start to win them over, and then I'm like, oh no, everyone's been laughing at me, you know. So instead, I just start thinking of rebuttals as soon as he starts rapping. I'm like constantly just in the rebuttal process the whole time he's rapping, and you know, by the grace of God, hopefully something comes through. But it's the same process for freestyling. It would be like, you know, if he says, you know, something like, oh, let's look at a word that I'm seeing, like "you're in the show," and that's like a punchline. Then I'm like starting to think about how, you know, like, okay, but maybe, uh, you know, I'm the director, and then you got to think about like, okay, what rhymes with the director, and then you're like, oh no, fuck, I can't rhyme Hector with director. This is not a good enough rebuttal. Then I got to think of something else. You know what I mean? And so like, it's real split decision, because if you have something, then you got to execute it properly. Because
Yeah.
what you can't do is fumble a rebuttal, because then you look ridiculous. You know what I mean? So like, there have been times where I'm like, no, I got to keep it in the tuck and just go with my next round. You know. And then there have been times where like, you know, like someone made fun of me looking like a shepherd or behaving like a shepherd or something, and so I was like, while he was rapping, I'm like, okay, shepherd, cow, cow, cow. Okay, so, you know, play 50, you know, play around, stick around 50. And then I was like, oh, 50 cal, like 50 caliber. You know what I mean? And it's like, you know, y'all want to hear this, so you better stick around. You know, that the machinery, I got to make them lift the ground. Yeah, I am a shepherd because I got 50 cows. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, word, you know? So better not fuck it up, though.
Let me ask this: like, how do you handle the pressure? You know what I mean, when you're facing somebody live, knowing the crowd is watching for every reaction.
I think I don't know, man. Like, recently, like battling every month really took it out of me, and I was like, you will burn out if you're not careful. And I know there's people that do it professionally, like that have accustomed themselves to that. The pressure, you become so used to. I think after dealing with so much rejection and so much like blackballing, so much like just gossip and talking, and like people always like constantly trying to cut you down, it just becomes regular. Like, you live in that pressure cooker. That's what the most successful people do. It's like repetition is the only thing that will really give you confidence, is repping it out so much that you could do it with your eyes closed. You could do it, you know, while extremely stoned. You know, it's like, especially as a rapper, like I've had to like put myself damn near through the Weed Olympics too, because you better be able to freestyle off the top, super blazed, or you better be straight edge AF. You know what I mean? Because if you're super straight edge and you haven't practiced, and then you take that one joint from Snoop Dogg, and all of a sudden it's like, oh no, I'm done. You know, but like in terms of the pressure, bro, yoga, like breathing. Before every battle, I go to the sauna, I go to the gym, so I sit and sweat. And so I have like a full blown ego death before I even enter, you know, and like I've already battled them so many times in my head that when it shows up, it's just like, it's in God's hands. I get to just let loose. You know, I see a lot of people that aren't very good at memorization, and so they're like still trying to memorize their stuff, and fucking they just didn't prep enough. You know what I mean? So I can say I've had about 30 something battles, and I haven't choked once. I'm the only battle rapper in Oklahoma in my class, probably just in Oklahoma, that hasn't choked or stumbled one time. I haven't choked once, bro. You know, like, I'm sure it'll happen at some point, but like that the repetition is the only thing that breeds confidence. You know what I mean?
And let's talk about your projects. You dropped Halo.
Yep.
Can you break down what that project means to you?
Halo is like my journey from like innocence to the darkness and then back to the light. Like I felt like, I was like in college battling after a nasty breakup, battling like an Adderall addiction, you know what I mean? And like just going through a bunch of dark shit. Like 2020 was dark like for everyone, and just like seeing kind of the stronghold that the system and the government had on our people, and it's just like everyone felt so unsafe, so vulnerable, and it was like wrestling with those emotions, and it was also this byproduct of okay, like not every battle rapper, like I wanted to check off all the boxes, if that makes
Mhm.
sense, like musically. Okay, so what does that mean? Like I want an R&B album. Like I need to learn to write an R&B album. I need to learn to write a concept album. I need to learn how to write a rock album. I need to learn how to write uh, a conscious hip hop album. So like it was a part of me experimenting with that process, cuz like if you do it enough, you can kind of get bored. So I just had to keep pushing that envelope and trying something new. And so it was a part of me trying to check off that box, but it was also like it took on a life of its own after me discovering that concept of like that's how you have to find your halo and like claim it. You have to hold on to that thing. You have to like choose to put that thing over your head. It's not just a given. Like I feel like we're all born with halos around our heads. You know what I mean? But that
Mhm.
shit can slowly wither away if you succumb to the darkness. And so like you really got to like fight to put that halo um, over your head. And that's why like in the last track titled Halos, like I pray you wake up every morning with that halo over you. It's like I think that's super important. You got to choose to be an angel on this planet. You're not just gonna by default, like this world will try to break you. So you got to choose to be a force for good every single day. You can't let yourself drift. You know what I mean?
Mhm. What's one song from that album you tell new listeners to start with and why?
Dude, I love the darker ones on that album just because I feel like I documented that plunge to darkness so well. Because the first two songs are like bubblegum pop punk ballads, you know what I mean? And then Fade to Black, Set the World on Fucking Fire, and Guerrilla Warfare. Like that 3-song run right there was really showing the parts of my mind that were like so destructive and like pain riddled that like I'm really proud of myself for being able to you know like safely take them into that world and then bring them back out. You know what I mean? Because I think that as an artist, you have a responsibility to your listener. Not that you can't me on Instagram at Aaron Sawyer Official. Follow. You can find me on Spotify, just Aaron Sawyer. I decided not to have a rap name, so I didn't like create some weird like fracture of my psyche where now I'm like all of a sudden I'm like vanilla caramel or whatever the fuck, or like white chocolate _5, and then everyone's like, oh, white chocolate, what's up? And I'm like, sup, I'm white chocolate. You know what I mean? I was like, I'm gonna just go by Aaron. So just look up Aaron Sawyer on all streaming platforms, and then follow me at Aaron Sawyer Official, bro. And like, we're gonna get busy. I'm dropping songs every Friday now, so it's gonna be for a while. So we're gonna have some fun, dude.